Kia ora, hello and welcome back to my channel. You may have noticed I haven't been on this channel for some time, and I wanted to give you an update and also talk a little bit about gratitude and why I believe gratitude is increasingly important and wonderful for our lives. Some of you are following me on other channels and may have seen the things that happened this year. So I may just start with the last year and the journey, my journey, however also explaining all the topics that I always cover and why everything is kind of coming together. Initially, when COVID started in Europe, I have been in a hotel in Germany, working there as a manager, and that is a whole other kind of story, so I'm not going into that, but obviously through COVID then I lost the job. And yes, I had the choice of being devastated, being annoyed that I went through all the trouble getting there and all my hard work that I put into that place. Could have been upset about not earning any more money and all of that story. However, I looked at it in a different way. I thought, well, this is another opportunity. And for me, the opportunity was to really take some time out for myself. I used the time to write a book, and I wrote a book about my whole kind of little life story and how two-pointing has changed my life for the better. So writing a book in itself is quite amazing, and initially, to be honest, I wrote it more for myself to really review how the life unfolded, how things changed, but in the end, hopefully that is helping other people to see that even when we believe something really horrible, dramatic, devastating is happening, there's always another side to that, and most of the time, if we are looking for that, there is a massive opportunity behind that, and is also releasing a lot of our own personal strength. So I used that year for that, and the next year I intended to go back to New Zealand. However, for various reasons, which I'm again not really going into now, I stayed a little longer. And that's when this year I was in the middle of the devastating floods that happened in Germany in July. I'm not sure whether you heard of it, but there was an incredibly massive flood happening in the Ahrtal and exactly at the place where I was living. So I had another few learnings out of that. At the night when it happened, I actually worked at the just opened hotel again to help the new owners getting kind of started, and I am in hindsight extremely grateful that I was there, because they did not know the place, they didn't know really where rooms were, how to deal with that situation, and I'm grateful I was there. We had 50 guests and 10 staff members. It was it was quite a night. Lots and lots of people were afraid for their lives. They never experienced anything like that. And again, somehow deep inside, I knew through this whole event, I'm safe and everybody around me is safe. Nothing really dramatic will happen to us. Being able to think logically and respond with calmness, making decisions out of that strength is so important in situations like that. And again, another reason for me to be grateful that I discovered and now teach the two-pointing method, because it helped me tremendously. When I went the next day over briefly into what remained of my apartment, yes, I did get a shock, and I was very, very sad. Everything was totally devastated. and apart from 2 or 3 very dear items, there was nothing that I could salvage or take out of there. The whole apartment was swamped with mud, and the water has been almost to the ceiling. It was incredible to see that. And again, yes, initially my reaction was sadness, devastation, but then I also realized I went through all of this once before in my life, and I realized, yes, I lost my material things. However, I am healthy, I am alive, I am there to still continue supporting and helping other people. Material things, we can get so attached to them, and the attachment itself is sometimes causing us a big problem. So it felt like a cleansing. It sounds weird, yes, and I admit there were moments and there are things that I really regret having lost. However, it was also like a cleansing before my departure going back to New Zealand. One really good friend told me a lovely story, because I lost I thought I lost a very valuable thing that he gifted me a couple of years before. And that one really caused a little bit of heart pain. And I told him one day I lost that piece of jewelry. And he then said to me, in the Navy, they have a saying, if you lose something to water, to the flood, to the ocean, to the sea, that means you have saved another soul. Someone you don't know, but you saved a life of another soul. And also 2 things I learned from that. First of all, it changed my sadness directly into feeling good about this, but also made me aware again how important it is to have a different perspective on any situation that happens in our life. And once again, I don't want to bore you, but once again, 2-pointing really helps me, even in situations like this, to look at it from different perspectives, and also from the eagle eyes view from above, thinking, is this what can I learn from this? What is the message here? Is this something that's really devastating for me, or what is the opportunity that I can take out of that situation? Yeah, and then I, after helping lots of people for quite some time, I then had another really interesting journey back to New Zealand. So I am back in my chosen homeland and love the energy of the land itself. And therefore I thought, before this year is finished, I wanted to send you that message. And especially, traveling in these days, the whole world is kind of upside down. There's massive games being played. And I wanted to remind you, most of the time, we are engaging in something that we have no control over. And engaging, I mean, we either are very angry or we go into fear, which is the really bad thing, because in fear we can't make proper and good decisions for ourselves. So we are going into that state of fear. Although we know about certain things we have no control over. However, what we can control is how we respond to any situation that we encounter. And one of my teachings is always what happens in the outside world. And with outside world, I mean basically everything in your personal lives or in your community or in the world. If there is any aspect of that triggers you, then it puts you either into freeze, flight, or fear, or just anger, or any of those kind of emotions. That is an indication to me there is something within you that needs to be transformed, released, or healed. You can choose the word that resonates the most with you. I can't control what's going on out there. I can't control any of it, but I can control how I respond to it. And if I am in my strength, then I can make decisions based on that. Decisions that are directly coming from my intuition, only from me, not because somebody else said, not because I think that group is better than the other. I make decisions based on my truth. And that's what I really would like to encourage all of you. I am on neither side because there is no point. I just really would like you to remember, which I realized after the big flood, we need each other. We need to support each other. We are social beings. Getting to know your neighbors, having friends you really can rely on when you have situations like that I had happening, is so important. Something that happens right now is not the way we are going to evolve. We need to reconnect again to what is really important. And the importance for me is being grateful for what we already have. Being grateful for being alive. Being grateful for the little things. Having a cup of coffee with someone at home or outside or in a cafe. It's your choosing. What really is important? The material things can be replaced. Is there anything that you really need in your lives? And what you really need, in my opinion, is, first of all, really tools that help you to stay in your strength, in your center, and that help you to realize we are all connected on some level. Whether it's humans, whether it's nature, whether it's animals, whether it's machines, whether it's anything around us, we are all connected. And when we really, really get that on all levels, not just the intellectual one, then we fill the world with more gratitude, and we will interact with each other in a different way, because we know you are part of me and I am part of you. So how I treat you is a reflection of how I treat myself. Again, I would like you to get that. You are a part of me and I am a part of you. And how I treat you is a reflection of how I treat myself. Everybody has a story. Everybody has ups and downs. That's how life works. Life works for me always I kind of think it as waves. Sometimes they are soft, sometimes they are bigger, sometimes a tsunami is hitting. However, the essence is the water, and we are the essence. And whether we go with those waves, whether we fight against them or go with the flow, is up to us. That's what our real freedom is. That's what we can choose. What happens out there, a lot of the time, we have no ability to do something about it. And the last thing I would like to say in this relatively long video today, what we focus on expands is one of my other teachings, and that is so true these days. If you are constantly, subconsciously or consciously, looking for that fight, looking for the reason to be upset, looking for the enemy out there, you will get more of that. If you are choosing to look for the positive, for the gratitude for certain things, being grateful, living in the place you are living, being grateful having a friend, being grateful of having a pet, or being grateful to have food and shelter. any of these tiny little things that most of us are thinking that's kind of normal, or what we should have, then you get more of that. And use the time between the years, and the energies are really supporting you in that, to take stock, to look at what is really important, maybe to clear some clutter, take out some clothes that you haven't worn for 2 or 3 years and think, well, maybe somebody else would benefit, and then these clothes would enjoy being actually worn. Or start with a little shelf in the kitchen. Start some process of taking stock. What is really important to you? Focus on anything that gives you inner peace. And whether it is two-pointing, or whether it is meditation, or whether it is yoga, or walking out in nature, really doesn't matter. Find what works for you, that you always come back to your center. Whether it's, you can also do just simple breathing and realize, do I have control over this or not? If you choose not, you have control over how you respond. I will be starting one last course in this year on the 16th of December, because I really want to use these incredible energies that are supporting us in letting go and starting something really new. And I also will be doing on the 21st of December an open session for everybody who wants to join in releasing what doesn't serve us, and integrating all the resources that we need for our inner strength going into the next year. If I don't see you before, or if I don't see you in the course on the 21st, just know I love you. I'm so grateful you are even watching this. I feel connected to everything there is, and I have felt protected all these 2 years through all these trials and tribulations, mainly because of my work. So if you are interested, just send me a message, or I put a link underneath this video, and I might see you there as well. Otherwise, I wish you a wonderful end of the year, whether you celebrate Christmas or not, and a really wonderful start into a new year. We will be starting something really new. It's already there. All of us just have to align with it. I'm very certain about that. So, love and light and joyful smiles to you. Bye for now.